After you do the oils worksheet with your students and talk about the different vocabulary of circles and lines and dots and things like that, then you can start on your whiteboard with drawing the lotus, which is a symbol of Upper Egypt, and the papyrus, which is a symbol of Lower Egypt. When you start, have your students first look and study what they see, and then we'll talk about it as a group, and then we'll start drawing it as a group as well. So to begin, you would ask the students, what's the dominant shape in the lotus plant? And hopefully they would say that really large teardrop shape that's in the middle. So we would describe it as it's angled at the top and it comes down to a curve at the bottom. And we would say, well, where is that at on the paper? Is it in the middle? No, it's a little bit to the left. Is it touching the top of the paper? Nope, it's going to be right here. And we're going to see that it comes down and it curves around. Then it goes right back to where it started, like that. So you go around, make sure that all the students have the right shape as close as they can, and of course help them to, if they didn't quite study it or if they didn't quite understand, it's okay to erase and ask them to try again. Just doing it multiple times, they will get better at it each time. After they do the most dominant shape or the foundational shape, now we get to add to it. So what shape would they do next? Hopefully they would choose one of the petals on either side. And we're going to do the petal that's right behind this one. We can see that it touches and it curves out and comes to an angled line again. So we stop at the angle and then we come down and touch the line, but we're not going to cross it. This makes it look three-dimensional. It looks like this petal is hiding right behind this one, so it kind of makes it stick out a little bit, which is nice. Now we'll go to the other side and do the same thing. We want to study that the other side is the same. So we're going to do the same thing here where it curves and then goes up. It stops at the angle and then it comes back down. So each time we can draw on the whiteboard, stop, help our students all catch up and make sure they're on the same page, and then go back and ask them the same question is, okay, what do you see now? And can you describe it to me? The next shapes I would do would be these angled lines up here, which is kind of just like a really simple triangle that touches the two petals that we've already done. We're doing a lot of angled lines here, and if the students are having trouble and they're getting curvy lines, not angles, I just say go up, stop, and then go back down. If they don't stop, it's going to be more of a curved line and not an angled line. So this is the top of the lotus, and then what would we do next? We have some straight lines. And where are the straight lines coming from? They're coming from this middle shape that we already started with. So we know now where to connect our lines to on our drawing. On the paper that you're copying, they don't go all the way down to the bottom. They just go like this. But of course, if your students want to have them go to the bottom, go off the page, that's fine. They can be growing up from there. Either way is completely fine. So that's our lotus. And then next to it, we are going to be drawing the papyrus. And this one's a little bit more complicated because it has some additional shapes, not just these teardrop shapes. But again, let's ask the students, what's the foundational or dominant shape that they see in the papyrus? Hey, it's awfully similar to our lotus. It kind of starts with this curved line that goes up to an angle and comes back down and connects. So it looks very much like a long teardrop. So that's really similar to what we've already done. But now how does it different? Well, this one we have some curved lines that go out on either side. So to do our curve, we're going to start here at the bottom of our teardrop. We're going to go up and outwards, and it lands about equal with the top of the teardrop. So they can always pull their finger across from one side to the other and say, is it about the same height? Do you need to go lower or higher? Let's do it on the other side too. It's going to curve out and then stop about the same height as the top of that teardrop. So each time you draw a line, you want them to stop, look up at the board again, and continue to study what they see. They should be looking up at your example a lot more than they're looking at their paper, because the more they look at the example, the more they're going to be able to copy it well. what type of line is happening at the top of the papyrus plant? And it's kind of like a scallop. They're probably going to say a curved line. So what the curve kind of does is go up, down and stop, and then a curve. And they can go across the top of the papyrus with these curved lines, just like that. Any other details? Yeah, we see some curved lines that start at this point, and they go up and over and connect with the side of our lotus, excuse me, papyrus. So study again. Anything else? Same thing on the other side. Yep. Curves and stops there. And then the last thing would be the straight lines that we see at the bottom that again start from this teardrop shape and just go straight down, and they are parallel to one another. So now our students have copied the two flowers or plants, and this will probably take some time, especially if you have 4 and 5-year-olds. You'll want to walk around between each shape that you guys draw and make sure that everyone has it the right size, about the right shape, and just help them along piece by piece. Once they have these two things done, they can either go through and draw some more. Say they wanted a whole garden of lotus plants. Now they know how to do it, and they can continue to draw other things like that. Or if they wanted to add other things to their garden, say they wanted to add some water and some fish. Any type of living thing could be out here in this landscape that's happening along, let's say, the Nile River in Egypt. There could be birds. There could be the sun, which we do actually see a lot in Egyptian art with the rays coming out. So after your students copy and study those drawings, they can fill in their background and add their own creativity to it after they've done their drawing skills.